remember the day they laughed at me like it was yesterday. The air was thick with scorn. My family gathered around the dinner table, their eyes cold and dismissive. I had just announced I was quitting my job to pursue. I worked nights, coding until my fingers bled, pouring my passion into creating a game that was uniquely mine. The road was brutal, rejection after rejection from publishers, endless nights of failure, days wondering if I'd ever be enough. But I kept going. Years passed. My game finally launched, and it exploded overnight. It was featured on top gaming platforms, praised for its innovation and heart. I was invited to speak at conferences. My name was in headlines. I had built something real, from nothing, something that resonated with thousands. And then the calls started coming. Emails from my family, congratulating me for my success. But I knew they didn't truly believe it. Not yet. One day I received an invitation to return home for a family gathering. I hesitated. Part of me wanted to show up and rub my success in their faces. But another part, the part that still carried the scars of their rejection, wanted something more profound. Closure. I arrived at the house, transformed. I'd shed the doubts, the fears, the shame they'd tried to impose. I was no longer the trembling dreamer they mocked. I was a creator, a winner. The moment I stepped inside, their eyes widened. They looked at me as if I'd become a stranger. My parents' jaws dropped as they took in the confident man I'd become, the success radiating from my every move. We sat in the living room, eyes fixed on me. My father, once the stern critic, looked uncomfortable, his face pale. My mother's hands trembled slightly as she reached out, her voice barely a whisper. "So, you really did it." I looked at them, steady and unshakable. I did. I proved that even the most ridiculous dreams can come true if you're willing to fight for them. I didn't do it for you. I did it for myself. But I hope this shows you that failure isn't the end. It's just the beginning of something greater. A silence fell. Then, unexpectedly, my father's eyes glistened with something I'd never seen before: pride. He nodded slowly, as if acknowledging a victory he'd never believed possible. In that quiet moment, I realized the greatest triumph wasn't my success alone. It was the transformation, the breaking of chains, the proving of worth, and the silent, powerful promise that no matter how many times they doubted me, I would keep rising, because I had become everything they said I never could. And in their eyes, I saw the truth. I was no longer the boy they mocked. I was the man who had turned their doubts into my victory. And that, more than anything, was the sweetest revenge.